Another thing going on in the capital region, not really the capital region, but the tri-state area, the New York Rangers. And we do not talk a lot of hockey on this show because honestly, NFL sells. You know, hockey is always put towards the back, whether it's baseball, basketball, the NFL. Hockey's kind of pushed towards the back. It's not a hot topic button. But when you get the Rangers making a type of run like this, the type of run that they've been able to make in the outstanding job that their goaltender has done so far throughout the regular season and then absolutely stepping up in the postseason, especially these last 4 games where he's had a save percentage of about 97% and given up no more than 2 goals in the last 4 games. He's done a tremendous job because let's be honest, when it comes to going against this Tampa Bay Lightning team, 5-on-5, Tampa Bay's got the upper hand all day. All day. The difference in that 5-on-5 matchup is the goalie. And shout out to the Rangers goalie who's having an outstanding year. And what is my takeaway from this 2-0 series lead that the New York Rangers have been able to put on? It goes far back as to say, you are not in a playoff series. The playoff series does not get real until you win a game on the road. The Rangers, as well as they played over the first 2 games, blowing them out in game 1 and then winning 3-2 in game 2, they did what they were supposed to do. They protect home ice. They won the first 2 games at home. It is not a series until somebody wins a road game. Now you travel to Tampa Bay to face the 2-time defending champions in Tampa, where this team has outscored their opponents by 57 goals. They have a tremendous home record of 24-8-6 at home, a plus 57 scoring differential. So this is where the series gets interesting. Game 3. You did what you were supposed to. You got 2 out of 2 games at home. Now you travel to Tampa Bay, where Tampa's better at home. And they look like they may start beginning in a rhythm. Now, I know they scored 2 goals, 1 early, 1 late. But this is a team where they play better at home. They are coming off a 9-day layoff after they swept Florida, who clearly wasn't ready for the big spotlight when it came to NHL playoff time. But this team, after a 9-day layoff, sweeping Florida, and then getting into a tough series matchup with the Rangers in Madison Square Garden, the Rangers did a tremendous job, not only blowing them out in game 1, but taking game 2. And I know we talked about it's not really a series until you win a game on the road. But let's look back. The 2-time defending Stanley Cup champions have won 18 straight games following a loss in the Stanley Cup playoffs. Their last consecutive loss came in April of 2019. That's a long time. That's a long time. Now, I know we don't talk much hockey. I know we haven't paid attention much to the Rangers this year, who have had an outstanding year. A lot of young guys, especially on that line. You know, they call it the kid line for a reason. Very hyped. It feels like they arrived a year too early, but that's due to the way that they've played on the line up front. That's the way that they played from a goaltending standpoint, where their goaltender has been outstanding this year. Their goalie's been outstanding this year. But let's be honest. Up until this point, up into game 3 of the Eastern Conference Finals, this Rangers team has caught a lot of breaks. Now, shout out to the Rangers for taking advantage of these breaks, but they've gotten a lot of breaks. You know, this is a team that's learned to win in the postseason. They've grinded out wins. They're the comeback kids. They're the kid line, whatever you want to call them. You know, they bounced back from a triple overtime loss. They bounced back from a 3-1 series deficit to beat the Penguins. They've rallied from a 2-0 and a 3-2 series hole to beat the Carolina Hurricanes. They won 2 Game 7s so far. So it seems like they're peaking at the right time. They're healthy at the right time. They're learning how to win at the right time. In the last 4 games, they've played an outstanding level. Outstanding level. They don't have the best defense, but when it comes to goaltenders, there's not a better goaltender in the league. He's one of the more elite goaltenders in the league. So that goalie has absolutely made a difference for the New York Rangers. But let's be honest, they've caught in a lot of breaks up until this point. They had their game against Pittsburgh, their series against Pittsburgh, who Sidney Crosby missed 2 critical games. That had an effect. Also during that Pittsburgh Penguins series, they had Tristan Jarry out until game 7 for the Penguins. That was big. They saw backup goalies for a handful of their games in their series. You take a look at against the Hurricanes, forward Seth Jarvis was out in game 7. So there's been a lot of breaks. They faced a 3rd-string goalie in a game 7. They didn't have to face Hurricane starter Frederick Anderson, who missed the playoffs with a lower body injury. Instead, they saw the backup for 6.5 games until the 3rd stringer came in late in game 7 to try to save the season. So there have been a lot of breaks. So I don't know how to feel about this Rangers team. I don't know if they're going to be a Stanley Cup champion, especially with how well we've seen the other team, Colorado, playing in the Western Conference Finals, and knowing that this series is far from over. And their breaks have continued into this series, with the Lightning missing their forward, Brandon Point, who's out for game 3 as well. But he missed completely the whole series against Florida. He's missed these first 3 games against the Rangers. And you're talking about a guy, Brandon Point, who since 2020, no NHL player has more goals than Braden Point. Braden Point has 30 goals in 53 games. He's dealing with a lower body injury that he suffered against the Maple Leafs. Did not play at all during that blowout 4-0 sweep of Florida Panthers. And it's clear as day that they're missing him. Clear as day. They have had some inconsistencies in their lineups, their swaps, their line swaps. There's been some inconsistency in this series, and the Rangers have done a great job taking advantage because, let's be honest, the Lightning are the better team. They're the 2-time defending Stanley Cup champs for a reason. Missing a guy like Braden Point has been tremendous. Tremendous. But the Rangers have answered the bell. They've won games when they've needed to be won. They've hit goals when they needed to be hit every time, especially in that game 1, where they ended up turning into a blowout. But it was a little bit back and forth. Rangers went up 1, it was tied. Rangers went up 1, it was tied. They answered the bell every single time it was needed to be rung. I'm not quite sure if this is a Stanley Cup championship squad, but they're healthy at the right time. They're finding their identity, and their goalie has been outstanding up until this point. And guess what? You take a look at any championship run, NBA, NFL, MLB. What championship runs haven't come out with a little bit of luck? You take a look at the Golden State Warriors. Ja Morant was out, blah, 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 on their way to getting into the championship game. It takes a little bit of luck to get as far as you've gotten, and the Rangers have done a tremendous job taking advantage of that. But it's not a series until someone wins on the road. So the Rangers have an excellent opportunity today at 3 o'clock to put themselves up in a potential sweep situation going up 3-0. I think Tampa Bay bounces back. They're tremendous at home. They don't lose a lot at home. They got a plus 57 goal at home. Plus 57 goal differential at home. That's huge. They play well on the road, but they play a lot better at home. And this is not going to be a series until someone can win on the road. Great job protecting the ice. You win the first 2 games. Now you got to go on the road. I want to see how tough they can play, maybe pull off a victory. If not, continue to shift that momentum and try to get that game 4 victory on the road. But until somebody wins on the road, I'm not going to give any praise out here.